What is important that we move
Yes.
on to this segment of the show, Mason.
That's right.
It's called We Saw the Movie Glass Onion, a Knives Out Story.
That's right.
I'll tell you what, Netflix probably left a lot of money in the table dragging this from cinemas, kicking and screaming. So Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, had a budget of $40 million. It made $13 million at the box office. But Netflix paid $469 million for this movie and its sequel.
That's way more.
You'd think
Yes.
that you would leave this in cinemas. They must have calculated and thought that more people will sign up for Netflix if they kept it in this small window, right? Because otherwise, this is a terrible move to make.
Yes.
Yeah. Because
Well, I mean, they're famous for terrible moves, aren't they, Netflix?
well, that is true.
Yeah.
So, yeah, at the moment, it's not a box office hit, but it's nobody's fault but yours.
Oh, what?
The audience goers for not going.
I went to the movies.
Yeah, I meant yours as in the general audience listening to this.
Sure.
What do you think the story was?
Oh, come on, mate.
Yeah.
All right, so Benoit Blanc from the previous movie.
I've seen it.
He's in between cases.
Why?
And it's big time pandemic time because he doesn't have a case.
Yeah, he didn't have one.
But he's all sad and he's spending a lot of time in the bath playing Among Us with various celebrity friends who I shan't be naming.
Let's
until
not do
spoilers. But then a mysterious arrival at his door. And he's like, what's this? A new case? Probably.
Yep.
Better solve the case.
Again, we're going to be doing non-spoilers and then spoilers. But I would say, again, I didn't want to know anything going into this. I looked at the trailer and then didn't look at it again. So I would say same for you. I would also bear in mind also if you maybe heard what happens in this or what it's about. I think, like with the first movie, it's not necessarily about who did it that's interesting.
James said correctly.
Who done it.
Thank you.
It's more the
What's done it?
It's the unraveling of it which is interesting and the
Yeah.
interplay between the characters
Yes.
that makes it interesting.
It's the skewering of certain
yeah.
character archetypes.
Because I think it avoids falling into the trap of a lot of mysteries where it gets to the end and they go, this person did it. And you go, oh, I don't like that. Whereas this...
In fact, I would say there's a fun little, quite early on in the movie, there's a kind of a fun, what would you call it? A skewering of that trope of like...
There's a literal skewering.
There is a skewering.
They line up the entire cast and run them through with a jousting stick.
And what a cast. Maybe one of the finest casts ever to be put in a line and stabbed with a jousting stick.
I was thinking about how many of these I could fit onto a jousting stick, like a big shish kebab. But no, I can't decide. I think the first cast might be better.
Right, interesting.
But I don't know.
Look, the thing about this cast, I think, though, is...
I mean, I don't know. Is that even true? I don't know. Anyway, Janelle Monáe,
Yes.
Edward Norton, Catherine Hahn, Dave Bautista, other people, Mason.
Other people.
Yeah, surprise cameos, etc.
Yeah.
People who turn up and you think, oh, they're going to be in it, and then they're not in it again.
That's true. I saw a critique of that on Twitter. Somebody was like, excuse me, how could you get this guy in and he's just there for a second and he's gone? And it's like, why wouldn't you?
What do you care?
If you can get this very famous,
Tom Cruise.
if you can get the very famous if you can get this particular very famous Tom Cruise,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you exactly? Yeah. No, but all that being said, yeah, you're right. What an absolute cast and great interplay between them. Just an awful set of human beings like it was for the first movie. And I think that worked well. I also think it did well not to retread the same formula as the previous movie.
Yes,
Like I
exactly,
couldn't even say between this and the first one which is better. I mean, I think maybe I went into the first one like knowing less about how Rian Johnson would approach a mystery. So the surprise element of that I think probably worked a bit better. But as a mystery in itself, I think this is very well structured. Yeah. What about you?
I also agree with that.
Wow. We both said the same thing just then. Didn't we?
But again, I was going to say about the cast, it's not that they are all the most, it's not about having them being the most A-list cast in the world. Although obviously we've got Daniel Craig.
Yeah. He was in the first movie.
And Ed Norton, obviously.
He was in the first movie.
He was in the first movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, just sort of very, very good character actors, I think. Catherine Hahn is in this. Kate Hudson, who I haven't seen in a movie in years.
Yeah.
But puts in a very good performance as kind
That's
of
terrible because she's a big fan of yours and you've been ignoring her work.
Yeah, on purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a power play, you just don't like her?
Yeah, just a lot of negging in a power play.
And you don't like her?
Yeah, that also. Those things.
You didn't like the movie Fool's Gold with Matthew McConaughey?
Of course I like
The
movie.
most famous movie that they did together?
No, it's not even the most famous one. But yeah, she's got a long-suffering assistant played by Jessica Hennick. I thought was doing
She's
very
great,
well.
yeah.
Great. Dave Bautista is sort of a a Twitch streamer, YouTube guy who's he's sort of leaning into
MRA
MRA
dude, yeah.
with a girlfriend called Whiskey.
Yep.
Very good. Just very good.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think also one of the things this movie does very well is display the excess of wealth and also the kind of the stupidity of these levels of wealth and the things that you can afford and achieve, but also like, why would you do this?
Yes.
Like, because it's like, this is a silly thing.
So
you've done.
Blanc and all the other characters have been brought to Ed Norton's island.
Yeah.
Where he's carefully cultivated or he's had someone create I think an actual famous mystery author, like a real one.
Yeah.
Create a whodunit. He's going to be killed.
Who did it?
And and they've all been brought together because they were a former friend group.
Yeah.
Who sort of came up together, and he became super rich. In a vague tech sense,
yes,
and he's built a giant glass onion on his island, which is a callback to the glass onion bar where they all sort of hung out together as young bucks. You know, he's Ed Norton's become this insanely rich tech billionaire, despite maybe not being the smartest guy in the room, and he's just built this life of excess, and all these people sort of
glom on.
They glom on. Well, they
have to.
They have to. Yeah, they all started out as friends, but this guy became, the richest one, and they're all of course sort of beholden to them for various favors and their respective careers and their success. But of course, they all have a reason to kill him.
That's right. And why not?
Things don't go exactly as you would suspect.
Yeah, and it is without again getting into spoilers. It is like unconventionally structured. It twists and turns in ways that I cannot get into here. What did you think of the outfits though?
Loved them.
Yeah,
yeah.
On everybody.
Yes. Janelle Monáe's outfit's fabulous.
Agreed.
Catherine Hahn is all in beige all the time.
I agree. Dave Bautista's little undies with his gums
and he's wearing his Versace shirts to prove his manliness or what have you.
Yeah.
Jessica Hennick looks like a very harried assistant with a bucket hat. That's a trend. It's happening in the White Lotus as well.
Boy, is
bucket hatted assistant.
Yeah.
Who else is in this movie?
What about Benoit Blanc himself, Mason?
My goodness, James.
Yeah.
Trousers a little too wide for my taste. But
too wide or too white?
Too wide.
Oh, but that's the structure of his body.
It's true. Look, I think it was great. A lot of people pointed out like a stylistic shift, but here's the thing: he's a hashtag menswear guy.
Yeah,
and a menswear guy has very distinct seasonal wardrobes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I figured.
Yeah.
And he wears a shirt to swim.
He does.
Do you think that's because he's ripped or because he's not ripped?
Oh.
Because Daniel Craig can never go shirtless again for the rest of his life.
No, that's
true. If he's not ripped.
I would suggest Blanc is not ripped.
Okay.
A lot of people...
We see him in the bath and he's not ripped.
No, that's true, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say he's fit for his age.
Yeah.
That would be my guess. Of Benoit Blanc, not Daniel Craig.
Who is also fit for his age.
Also, a lot of people were like... I don't think this is a spoiler, but Benoit Blanc is gay.
That's been...
And a lot of people are like, they turn him gay in between movies. There's a scene in Knives Out where he's in the car by himself and he's listening to Stephen Sondheim lyrics and he's singing along, and I'm like, no, he was gay.
He was gay.
He was gay in the first movie too.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, it's not like it doesn't factor into anything. It's just like a small part of his life that just kind of happens, in a scene. Yeah. What would you say?
Anyway, James, he's wearing a lovely what seems to be a sort of 1920s kind of reminiscent safari suit for most of this movie, and I thought it was delightful.
I mean, he wore something to an island. It seems island appropriate. He's not going to wear his cravats and his blazers or whatever he wore on the last one.
He's wearing his neckerchiefs, obviously, James. He didn't wear any cravats in the previous movie. I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Okay, right.
You don't remember me on this.
All right, I do remember.
Not after this 15-minute segment we're doing.
Yeah, that's right. All Benoit Blanc's little outfits, the segment.
Pocket squares?
No, not in this movie.
In the first one.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
It just seemed country attire appropriate in the first one. Boat shoes?
No.
Slip-ons?
No.
Crocs?
Yes.
Blazer socks?
Crocs and blazer socks, yes.
Great.
That's exactly right, yes.
Cool. Anyway, compared to the first, which is better?
I think they're of equal quality.
But is it best movie ever?
Yes.
I agree it is, Mason. I had a good time with this. And if you can catch it in cinemas, which you can't, you should. Which you can't.
I mean, it was interesting because
maybe they'll give it another run.
They were like, no, and then they're like, we're considering it.
Yeah, they should.
But I wonder, I think maybe the end result was they're like, okay, when it's on Netflix, we'll do a theatrical run. Why? Right?
I wouldn't go to the theater.
You've still got like 3 weeks. Why?
Yeah.
But I mean, that might be a case of...
Put it counter to Avatar.
Right?
You know, you go to the movies and you're like, I don't want to see Avatar. I'll see anything else or that.
Exactly.
Obviously.
Because I think what most likely happened is they put it out for a week in cinemas and it did quite well for a
mid-budget movie.
A mid-budget non-Marvel movie. And then they said, well, maybe we should book some more cinemas, but they couldn't. Because everything was booked out.
You might be right.
They made up this malarkey that we're not interested.
It wasn't at Hoyt Cinemas in Australia. There's like 2 major chains. Well, there's more than that, but there's in Victoria at least. It's Hoyt's and
Village,
and it wasn't at Hoyt's. And I wonder if that was a distribution thing as well, or
maybe
I don't know what's going on.
Maybe Ryan Johnson.
Shut up, Lenovo tablet computer.
Maybe Ryan Johnson burned all his bridges with the head of Hoyt's Cinemas.
No way.
Yeah, maybe the head of Village.
Jeanette Hoyt's.
Maybe the founder of Village Cinemas loves The Last Jedi and Hoyt's thinks it sucks.
Maybe you might be right.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
mean, that's how things go, isn't it?